Welcome to the Tim Booker channel, where wisdom deserves to be shared. Wishing you a pleasant listening experience. Today, I'll be interpreting The Minimalist Entrepreneur, with the subtitle, How Great Founders Do More with Less. This book is authored by Sahil Lavangia, a young entrepreneur hailing from the United States who belongs to the 90s generation. His most notable achievement was founding a tech company similar to an eBay for creators to sell their works. You might wonder, given his youth and having only founded one company, how much money-making experience does he really have? Is what he has to say valuable? To be honest, I had the same initial doubts. However, after reading this book, I discovered that the author's journey is indeed inspiring. In 2019, he wrote an article titled Reflections on Building a Billion-Dollar Dream and Its Demise. It quickly went viral online, with millions of shares, resonating with many. Why? Well, when he started his company, his aim wasn't just modest, like earning $1 million or $10 million. He set his sights on building a billion-dollar enterprise, what we often refer to as a unicorn company. Initially, things went smoothly, but reality dealt him a heavy blow later on. We'll delve into this process shortly, but to sum it up, becoming a unicorn was no longer possible. So, what did he do? Did he give up? Did he settle for mediocrity? Not at all. After a painful period of introspection, he realized that even if he couldn't become a unicorn, he could still create a small and profitable company. He transformed his business strategy, resurrecting the company. As of 2021, when he wrote this book, the company's annual revenue had exceeded $10 million. Subsequently, the author turned his reflections into this book. He believes that, compared to relentlessly pursuing unicorn status, starting a small-scale but consistently profitable business is a more practical and achievable approach. In today's China, many entrepreneurs venturing into new businesses need to contemplate similar questions. When the economy isn't experiencing rapid growth, how can I genuinely make money instead of being blinded by grand dreams? Small and beautiful is a trend in the future society. Therefore, from this young 90s entrepreneur, what we should focus on learning may not be how to succeed in entrepreneurship but rather how to survive in this era. The following audio will be divided into two parts. First, in the initial section, we'll discuss the core of the small and beautiful business strategy, which places earning capability as paramount. In the second part, we'll explore how to discover your own earning capability and sustain it over time. Okay, first, let's dive into the first part and discuss the core of the small and beautiful business strategy, which emphasizes profitability as the top priority. If we were to sum it up in one sentence, it would be this: don't single-mindedly pursue expansion, instead, do everything in your power to generate profits. This viewpoint stems from the author's own experiences. As mentioned earlier, the author's company went through a cycle of rise, fall, and then a rebirth, transitioning from chasing the unicorn dream to embracing the small and beautiful concept. Let's now delve into this entire journey. In 2011, while still in college, the author suddenly had an idea: to provide creators with a platform where they could freely trade their works online, especially digital products like video tutorials, audio courses, software memberships, and even small digital icons, among others. He believed this was the makings of a billion-dollar enterprise. So, he immediately left the project team he was part of, relinquishing his existing equity, to pursue his unicorn dream. Soon, he designed a simple trading website and launched it. He named this website Gumroad. On its very first day of operation, the website had over 50,000 visitors, a remarkable start that bolstered the author's confidence. With this promising beginning, what came next? For a prospective unicorn, it was all about gaining momentum. Consequently, the author began shuttling back and forth in Silicon Valley, attending meeting after meeting in various conference rooms, passionately pitching his vision to venture capitalists. Eventually, he secured over $8 million in investment, most of it coming from heavyweight players in the venture capital industry who had previously nurtured giants like Amazon, Apple, Google, Facebook, Twitter, and many other internet giants. They, like the author, believed they were witnessing the birth of a unicorn. So now that the funds were in place, what else did this unicorn need? Obviously, it needed talent. Soon, the author poached dozens of employees from the tech giants. Things were heating up, and he felt that it wouldn't be long before he and his team took the platform global, leading to fame and fortune, and perhaps even conversations with the likes of Bill Gates and Warren Buffett. But alas, these grand ambitions did not materialize. Initially, the company expanded rapidly thanks to the investors' money. However, once those funds ran out, they hit a growth bottleneck. For the next 9 months, they tried various ways to secure more funding, all of which failed. Gumroad, deprived of venture capital, was like a car running out of fuel, unable to move forward. Eventually, the author had to lay off most of the company's employees, leaving only a core team. Despite the Gumroad website still operating, he felt like a complete failure. He relocated from Silicon Valley to a quiet small town to ponder the restructuring of his company. However, in this small town, something changed. The author made new friends who, upon hearing his story, thought he was crazy for initially aiming to create a billion-dollar enterprise. Wasn't Gumroad good enough as it was? After all, it was still operational and providing valuable services to many creators. At first, the author couldn't understand their perspective, as in Silicon Valley, such thinking was unheard of. People there either aimed for huge success or went home. However, gradually, the author began to see the merit in his friend's point of view. Although the unicorn he had fervently pursued turned out to be nothing more than a pony, this pony was fulfilling his initial vision. Thousands of creators were running small businesses on Gumroad, selling their courses, ebooks, or self-designed software, using the earnings to support their lives and families. More and more writers, programmers, artisans, and various other creators were flocking to the platform, realizing their dreams day by day. The author slowly realized that the problem lay not with the company but with himself. He had been fixated on an unattainable unicorn, lamenting the company's inability to continue expanding in scale. But he had overlooked the fact that the company had always been profitable, and its scale matched its target market well. For some investors, Gumroad might have been a disappointing project, but for the customers it served, it was a valuable platform. Once he grasped these insights, the author decided to regroup and focus on developing Gumroad. He stopped thinking about expansion and instead directed his energy toward bringing more value to creators. The results were significant. In 2020, they generated over $140 million in revenue for the platform's creators, an 87% increase compared to 2019. Meanwhile, the platform itself generated revenue exceeding tens of millions. Later, the author published an article online, the same one mentioned at the beginning, titled Reflections on Building a Billion-Dollar Dream and Its Demise. In this article, he shared his experiences, lessons learned, and the evolution of his thinking throughout his years of entrepreneurship. This article quickly gained popularity online, resonating with many readers. Since then, the author has connected with many other entrepreneurs and learned about their stories. He increasingly realized that most startups are not suited for the unicorn path, the relentless pursuit of massive funding and expansion to become market giants. Many startups, in their early stages, are compelled to seek significant funding because they haven't found a sustainable profit model to sustain their normal development. Consequently, they fall into the trap of blindly pursuing growth as their primary objective, neglecting profitability. The author believes that entrepreneurship is akin to sailing. Relying solely on funding for growth is like treading water in the sea, hoping for a lifeboat to rescue you. Such an approach is unsustainable. So, what's the sustainable approach? It's building your own ship, and that ship is the profitability of your business. In other words, regardless of how grand your plans may be, you need to focus on making money, on achieving profitability first. This is the core of the small and beautiful business strategy we discussed earlier. The author took 8 years, filled with setbacks and struggles, to grasp this point. So, having covered the core of the small and beautiful business strategy with profitability as the top priority, the next question is how to find your own money-making capability and sustain it. Let's start with how to find your money-making capability. To sum it up from the book, it's about becoming a solution yourself. The author reminds us that in today's world, people are willing to pay for solutions, particularly those that address specific problems with effective tools. So, making yourself, your product, or your company a specific solution is a fast track to profitability. How do you do it? For entrepreneurs, the author suggests immersing yourself in a niche community and identifying the problems you want to solve within that community. Take the author's own experience, for example. Why did he come up with the idea to create Gumroad? It was because one night in 2011, he spent 4 hours creating a signature pen icon for a project. If he could buy the usage rights to a pre-designed icon online, those 4 hours would have been saved. He was willing to pay for this convenience. At the time, he was active in a designer forum and realized that many designers faced similar frustrations, often creating small icons themselves, which was time-consuming and could only be used once. However, there was no platform for digital content creators to trade such items. This became his entrepreneurial inspiration. This story may sound straightforward, but when searching for entrepreneurial inspiration using this approach, there are many things to consider. First, it's better if you were already a member of the community rather than joining it only when you decide to start a business. You should clarify which community you belong to in your daily life. Where do you spend most of your offline and online time? For example, in your offline life, do you often participate in workshops, training sessions, or social events? Online, which forums do you frequent? Have you joined interest groups or discussion forums on certain websites? The author also points out that many online courses serve as functional communities. Course participants often form a self-organized community around specific topics in the comment sections. This phenomenon is evident in our own community, such as the comments in the Get app, the book discussion section, and the Knowledge City events. Once you've joined or identified the right community, you've effectively identified your potential user base. Next, consider what challenges members of this community face. Since you are also a member of this group, think about the difficulties you've encountered in the role of this group. Alternatively, browse through the community or forum comments to see if anyone is complaining about certain problems. This is why the author emphasizes starting with a community. If you try to create something for everyone, you may end up targeting a pseudo-need, building something that nobody truly needs. However, once you understand the people you want to focus on and help, their problems become more visible, and finding solutions becomes easier. If you still feel stuck and lack ideas, the author provides some guidance. From an economic perspective, people usually purchase products or services for 4 types of value. 1. Geographical value, making hard-to-obtain things easily accessible. Example, acting as a proxy shopper or facilitating knowledge transfer, such as turning improv comedy theater techniques into a course for business professionals. 2. Form value, rearranging things in a way that adds value. Example, mobilizing local gyms within a 3-kilometer radius to launch a regional fitness membership. 3. Time value, speeding up slow processes, essentially improving efficiency. Example, enhancing productivity. 4. Ownership value, removing intermediaries in businesses with multiple transaction points, reducing transaction costs. Example, streamlining transactions. These 4 types of value not only guide your problem-finding direction but also provide a framework for creating solutions, whether you're expanding your business, exploring new ventures, or discovering your unique value. Now that you have a direction for your solution, the next step is to systematize it. In other words, outline how your solution can address users' problems, step by step, on paper, without omitting any steps in the process. For instance, if you want to create a website for artists to sell their work, consider how an artist, as a user, can upload their work, gain exposure, communicate with buyers, receive payments, provide feedback, and handle after-sales support. Writing everything down in detail ensures that your idea is a feasible, closed-loop process, not a mere fantasy. With this systematic approach, you can then discuss your idea with people in your so far. We've been discussing how to discover your money-making capability. In a nutshell, it's about becoming a solution yourself. For entrepreneurs, we can further expand this idea. Communities lead you to problems, problems lead you to solutions, and turning those solutions into systematic processes becomes profitable products and, ultimately, a business. Now, let's talk about how to sustain this money-making capability. The key here is to remember a simple formula: profit equals income minus costs. To maintain your money-making capability, you must consistently ensure that your income exceeds your costs. In every step you take, strive to earn more and spend less. Let's begin with the income side. The author advises against offering free trials at the early stage. Instead of trying to attract users with a free product and later converting them to paying customers, start by charging from the beginning. Whether it's the first 10 users or the first 100, everyone must pay to use the product. This process validates your product's money-making potential. Relying on free usage can be misleading, as it might not accurately reflect user engagement. Additionally, in the early stages, don't aim for a perfect product before launching. If some people are willing to pay for your current solution based on your research, go ahead and release an initial version. Pay close attention to feedback from paying users and iterate accordingly. As the book puts it, deliver early, deliver often. However, before adding anything new to your existing product, consider whether it will make users willing to pay more for it. In the small and beautiful business approach, every action should lead to profitability, the core goal. Now, let's talk about costs. The author's perspective can be summarized in one sentence: if you can avoid spending money, don't spend it. Based on this viewpoint, he provides several suggestions. At the beginning, focus on creating products with minimal costs. There are three main categories. 1. Selling your knowledge through digital content, including live video courses, audio courses, ebooks, article collections, podcasts, and more. Many influencers on social media and video platforms follow this approach. 2. Providing information services by connecting users within a community and offering targeted information services for a membership fee. Examples include fitness groups sharing exercise tips and investment discussion groups providing market updates and expert analysis. 3. Designing a website or software, as the author did. While this may require technical expertise, if you're tech-savvy, you can save on development costs. Previously, we mentioned 4 different economic values: geographical, form, time, and ownership value. Think of these as the core of your solution design. The cost-effective products mentioned earlier are the practical manifestations of your solution. Combining the two often results in a suitable product or business. For instance, you can use online group courses to help people learn time management skills, which combines digital content with time value. Another example is creating a small office plugin that automates a manual process, combining software with form and time value. Moving on from product design to promotion, many people initially think of buying traffic and exposure on social media, using video bloggers or podcasts for advertising, or placing ads on websites, newspapers, or magazines. However, the author suggests avoiding spending money on ads in the early stages because it leans toward buying growth. In the small and beautiful approach, the focus is on not spending money unnecessarily. The breakthrough here comes back to the community. The author recommends becoming an active member of the community before officially launching your product. Become a knowledge sharer and provide value within the community. Build relationships with some members who will become your initial user base. If your product genuinely solves their problems, they will naturally help you spread the word, bringing in more users. Simultaneously, continue to help others within the community and expand your influence to introduce more people to your product. When you've exhausted your potential user base within your current community, consider expanding to a broader audience. The process remains similar: identify your target audience and find influential figures within that group who can serve as entry points. You can offer them your product for free or negotiate promotional fees based on their follower count. According to the author's experience, the more precise your target audience, the less you'll spend on advertising, and the higher your return on investment. Lastly, in the daily operations of your business, save money by using software instead of manpower whenever possible. Automated finance software, project management tools, technical maintenance software, and data monitoring software can be your allies. Some software can even help with legal paperwork and email collection. Nowadays, many basic needs of startups can be met with software, which is often more cost-effective than hiring personnel. If you eventually need assistance, consider outsourcing or hiring freelancers instead of full-time employees. If you do hire full-time staff, explore options like remote work or shared office spaces to reduce fixed costs. This approach not only saves money but also keeps exit costs low if you decide to exit the business. In summary, the key to sustaining your money-making capability is to keep your costs consistently lower than your income. Remember, every action should aim at profitability, and frugality should be your guiding principle. Some may wonder if this approach is too conservative, but it's the result of the author's experience in the startup and investment world over more than a decade. Many businesses experience rapid income growth when they are first established. Money seems to come easily, and the founders may not value it as much. They might think that sustaining growth is a simple task. However, compared to the initial rapid growth, continuous growth is actually a greater challenge. The author has seen many businesses fail, and most of them didn't collapse because their income suddenly dropped. Instead, they failed due to poor money management practices, such as excessive spending on rapid expansion, excessive hiring leading to high office space costs, and more. So, the author repeatedly advises readers in the book not to rush things in the early stages. Avoid rapid expansion, don't move to Silicon Valley, don't get large offices, and don't hire too many people. In essence, the advice is to prioritize stability over speed. Whether you've earned the money or raised it through fundraising, every penny should be used to improve your product and make it a better solution for users. Then, adjust your growth pace based on changes in your user base and their willingness to pay. Ultimately, you'll have a valuable, sustainable business for your users. While you might not be the hottest thing in the short term, you're likely to be the one who lasts the longest. In summary, the book emphasizes the importance of pursuing profitability over rapid expansion. To discover your money-making capability, become a solution yourself. For entrepreneurs, let communities lead you to problems, problems lead you to solutions, and turning these solutions into systematic processes leads to profitable products and businesses. To sustain your money-making capability, remember the simple formula: profit equals income minus costs. Keep your costs lower than your income, prioritize stability over speed, and aim for long-lasting success. The author's insights are not only relevant to startups in a competitive market but also applicable to new businesses in unfamiliar territories and individuals navigating uncertain environments. Survival means finding your unique value, connecting it with what others need, and becoming a solution worth paying for. To survive and thrive, take steady steps, release value incrementally, and avoid hasty and heavy investments. It's best to position yourself in a safe place where losses are manageable and you can exit if needed. These are the insights inspired by the small and beautiful approach. In closing, I'd like to borrow a recommendation from Mr. He Fan, who said, "The economic ecosystem has changed. Old species will disappear, and new species will rise. In the future, new species may not be giants like dinosaurs and whales but clever creatures like sparrows that can quickly find new ecological niches." In the market from 2020 to 2022, we have already seen many companies and individuals stepping up to face challenges and seek new resources and opportunities in a changing environment. They are embarking on a small and beautiful journey. Congratulations on finishing another book. Thank you for your support and attention. Please subscribe to the Tim Booker channel, like, and share with your family and friends. Wisdom is worth spreading. Open the door to a brighter future. Thank you, and goodbye.